Hi, Trekkies. Welcome to my niece TV Zealots. My name is Denise, and my partner in crime is Mary. And tonight, we're boldly going where no one has gone before. Mary, go ahead and say hi.
Ba, 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 ba. I'm so excited. This episode of Star Trek Discovery was awesome. We're going to just keep recapping it because we love it so much. So give this video a like. Subscribe to us if you want us to keep going with Star Trek. But, man, choose your pain. That is such a great title for this episode because there was some pain here. How did you... Here, break it down for us, Denise.
Well, Captain Lorca is captured by the Cleon army and held captive and as a prisoner of war. And then Captain Suru acting Captain Suru, has to take his place and try to get this mission off the ground to go and save Lorca. And it is just a whole mess. Like, Saru and Michael are not at all seeing eye to eye. And I think it was more so on his parts.
Oh, yeah. He was, like, on the attack. Like, I feel like it wasn't called for. The amount of attack that he was putting on her. And she was sincerely worried. And again, she went against Captain's orders because of her hunch. And so he was super upset about that. So I kind of get where he's coming from, but he could have handled it better, if that makes sense.
Agreed. Yeah. So, what is it called? The animal? The animal, is it I can't remember. Anyway, he basically they figured out that he was in distress whenever they tried to take off. And so Michael's suggestion was, basically not to use their new technology. And so Sir was not having it. So he was like, okay, look, we have to, rescue. We have to be able to get into Cleon territory and out at the speed, like we cannot play any games, the captain's life depends on it. And I think it's really hit him hard because he's, they lost their last captain, and especially since Michael is like right in his face.
Oh, yeah.
And she was basically the blame. Well, to blame. They blamed her, but I don't, because I felt like she was going anyway. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He just sees her as the one who got their captain killed. And he's like, you're not going to get this one killed. Like, this is not what is up.
Oh yeah, I really like the way that Suru kind of approached this problem as just a soldier, like Michael was really like, let me step back and think about this. Like, we need to find a better way. Let's run some tests. But he was just like, is this animal going to work or not? Use the animal. And the doctor, he came up and was like, I think this is a sentient being. This is murder. This is torture. And he's like, Captain Lorca is being murdered. It could be murdered and is being tortured as we speak. Who's more important? He said, I'll face the consequences after we save the captain. And I thought that he was going to be a bit more of a sensitive person, Suru, but in this episode, it showed like his hardness. And when he asked the computer to bring up a list of the bravest captains and the captains that had the highest decorations, he was like, I want you to catalog my my decisions against theirs. And one of them was Captain Pike from the very first Star Trek, which I was like,
yeah.
But and I felt like he did not do well.
No, I felt like he didn't do well either.
Yeah. Man, that was so good. Like, there's those scenes that were so good. And I feel like the Klingon parts, though, not as necessary.
All the right, okay, so the Cleons, while they're in jail, they have to choose whether or not they want to experience the pain or they want to pass the pain off to another prisoner.
Oh, yeah.
And, right. What was his name? Harry? Was it Harry?
Harry Mudd.
Yes, Harry Mudd. I forget sometimes. I'm terrible.
You're good.
So he's like in the background. I knew it was something up with him. I'm like, he's too like he's trying to tell him how to go, and he just looked like he nickel slick. So he's sitting there with that bug, keep holding it close. I'm like, there's something with that. But, he's like showing them the ropes and telling them how to survive. And he's like, look, you gotta, dish it out, whatever. And so it turns out after they take Lorca in to torture him, he's discovered that Harry is actually recording all the information that they say and reporting it back to the Cleons. And this is how they know, basically, they're trying to, break them. And he's like, okay. So they know, now he knows who he can trust. And the other prisoner that's in there, they work a plan together in order for them to escape. And I'm like,
awesome.
It really was. He's like, take me, Captain. He's like, they'll just tell him to choose me for your pain. And while he's beating him, he just, oh my God, the action scene was amazing. I was so excited. I'm like, yes, what's happening?
I'm sorry, go on.
Meanwhile, they finally Saru finally convinces the engineer to go ahead and use this animal anyway, or so we think, because they do take off and they're in Cleon. Well, no, he does convince them to use them, and they get them to Cleon territory. But then they're like, oh, well, now the animal has shrunk. Like he pushed all the water out of him, went into survival mode. Like, y'all will not be using me anymore.
Basically petrified himself, turned himself into a rock, and is in a coma. And so they can't read any of its vital signs or anything like that. And Suru confined Michael to her quarters. So she can't come out and help. She's a prisoner again on the ship. And so once they get the captain back, they've got to make another jump. And so they're like, okay, well, we're ready to make the jump. And that was amazing. Like, because Michael said that the only thing that's comparable to that animal that could tell the spores where to go were human beings. And he was like, we're not allowed to experiment on humans. Eugenics was, which I thought was really cool because of the racism thing, but eugenics was against the law, centuries ago. And she's like, exactly. So we need to run more tests. And so the engineering lieutenant, he just hooked himself up to it and it jumped and it worked.
Man, I was like, oh, and he was laid there. And when he came out of it laughing, I thought he truly had went crazy. I'm like, wait, like, is he mad? And then he seemed fine. Like he's talking to his boo,
the doctor,
and he's like, you could have died. And he's like, no, I'm fine. It's all good. And that last scene, I was like, what is this? This is the stuff that nightmares are made of. Like,
yes. And so they're brushing their teeth, which is something that you never get to see, the little things in Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Like, how do they go to the bathroom? How do they unzip their uniforms? How do they brush their teeth? What kind of blankets do they use? Little stuff like that. But they're, after he brushes his teeth, they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're back." And so, you know, he looks at himself in the mirror. They're going out to get ready, and the camera flips back around, and he's still there. His reflection. And then it turns around. He's like 2 seconds behind himself. And I'm like, I'm not ready for episode 6. This is going to be like Friday the 13th. Like, it's a horror movie now. Like, what are we going to do? But I'm really excited about these nightmares coming up. So you guys let us know what you thought of that awesome ending. Because,
I will say one more thing. I'm ready for them to start trusting Michael more. Like, I feel like she's in a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the scenes, and she is valued by the engineer and by the captain.
Yeah.
But like with the captain out this week, I felt like we didn't have as much of her as we should have, especially since she was confined to quarters for a good minute.
Yeah, I feel like are they gonna do that to her more? Like push her to the side?
I hope not.
Because they really had to make this a good episode without her in it. I
mean, she was for the most part in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that moment, but I was just like,
yeah.
It feels like this is the way. Yeah, I hope this is not the way they're going. You know what I mean? Like it was just one of those. Ooh, I don't know. But well,
part of the problem with her character is I feel like they messed this up. Is that she's a known mutineer? She's supposed to be in jail.
Yeah.
And the captain of the Discovery just pulled her out. Said, "Well, it's wartime. We can take whoever we need for whatever kind of technology that we need during war." So when the war is over, is she going back to jail? You know, like how much contact can she have with the crew? And how much contact does the crew actually want with her? You know?
I think they'll fix it. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I hope so too.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it. If you guys are watching along with us, leave a comment below. If we left something out, let us know. Put it down there. And thanks for watching, guys. Until next week, have a good night. Bye.